Hi, I'm Peter and I'm the developer behind AVX, EVA and EVAN, and I'd like to talk to you quickly and try and keep this brief about some of the features of my software, so just to clear up a few things before you decide whether you want to try it or not. So if you just bear with me here for a little bit, I'll try and get through this as quickly as possible, and then I'll get in and show you how to get a few things set up, and then I'll show you some of the things. Other than that, I have over 20 different videos on my YouTube channel now that show you all of the different features and how to set each particular feature up and use that particular thing. So, because there's a lot involved in this software, it's not just something that you can try in 5 minutes and say, yeah, this is great, this is what I want. It's something that you really need to take advantage of the 28-day trial that I have. So I have the free versions there, which it's a free trial, 28 days, and that's for each of EVAN, EVA and AVX. And you can do them independently. So if you want to try EVA for 28 days, you can do that and then uninstall it and then go ahead and try AVX for 28 days. It's up to you. So let's see, first things first. First thing I want to tell you was that this software is not, it's not quite like Siri in that it doesn't do a great job of answering general knowledge questions. So if you are looking for something that can answer questions, you're probably looking to use something like Google Now if you're on Android 4.1, or if you're not, use Wolfram Alpha. Those applications do a much better job of answering questions like how far is it to the moon and what's the diameter of the Earth. Now also, if you're looking for software that's more of a chatbot where you can kind of have a conversation with a computer, then this is not the application for you. You need to choose one of the other virtual assistants out there. So having said that, what can my software do? Well, it can do a lot of things. I'll tell you how I use it. I have it reading my email for certain different people. So, you know, friends and family email me, it'll immediately read those. Text messages, when they come in, it'll read those. I have it reading my Facebook feed and Twitter, the people that I'm following on Twitter. I use it in the car with car mode for playing music, and also for different things like controlling my garage door. I also use it in the car for, obviously, you know, reading out Facebook and text messages and being able to reply to those messages as well, hands-free. I use the feature where you can wave your hand in front of the phone to activate it rather than using the wake feature. So there's a bunch of different things and ways that I use it, and everything that's been developed in this software is either something I came up with that I needed or somebody else suggested. So it's grown over the last 18 months since it's been released, with basically on kind of like an as-needed basis. When somebody wanted something, I've added it in if I could. So let's see, sort of things that you can do. It really, the reason for this software is to save you time. So things that you do repetitively on your phone, like typing messages and things like that, this will make things much easier for you, especially once you get to use the voice recognition and it gets used to your voice. And speaking of that, let me just tell you, the Google voice recognition that this uses right now requires an internet connection, and I've contacted Google and asked them if they could make their offline voice recognition available to us third-party developers, and they have not responded yet. So I'm hoping that's something that'll come in the future. When that does, you won't need an internet connection for the voice recognition. Keep in mind with this voice recognition, when you first start to use it, it's not going to be that great. It'll probably get half of the things that you say wrong and the other half right. So you have to just bear with it for a little bit, and after about a week or so of using it on a semi-regular basis, it will improve a lot, and you'll find that the more you use it over time, it'll get to the point, and for me, I've been using it for almost 2 years now, it's about 98% accurate. And the trick is to speak at a normal pace and just pronounce your words clearly, and it just gets better and better. And you'll see certain words that'll always get wrong, and I've got a feature in the software here where it's called replacement word feature, where if the Google voice recognition is coming back with a word that you've said that's wrong, you can enter that word and put the replacement word for it. So, and that works good for names and stuff as well. And also, I've got a nickname feature in there, so if you're trying to call a certain contact and they have a tricky name that the Google voice recognition doesn't pick out, you can create a nickname for that person and use that nickname to call them instead. So, but bear in mind, it does use the Google voice recognition, as do most of the voice assistant apps out there. And you know, if you're using it in my software, you're also, anytime you're pressing that microphone button on your keyboard. It's using the same system, and it's improving regardless of whether you use it through my software or any, of the microphone off the keyboard or any other software. So it's definitely worthwhile using and using more and more as you can, because it'll just get better, and then eventually it's going to know your voice really, really well, and it's just going to work great for you, like the way I experience it now. And on the other side of things, with the text-to-speech, when the software is speaking back at you, I've given you the option to choose any third-party voice out there, or just use the default voice off your phone. In my opinion, the default voices, and especially ones on the older gingerbread phones, were not very good. They came with a Pico voice, and it sounded very robotic, and it's just not pleasant to listen to for any length of time. And the voices that come on Android 4.1 and 2 are somewhat better, but I think the third-party voices out there are definitely an improvement over that. And depending on which one you choose, they're much more natural sounding. So I recommend the voices from SVox or those from Ivona, and I'll show you in a little bit where you can download those and how to get one of them set up so my software is using it. And once you've selected it in your Android settings, that same voice will be used for things like Google map navigation. So if you're getting turn-by-turn directions from Google Navigation, it'll use the same voice. So anyway, some of the other things that my software can do, and I said before, reading your text messages. It can read regular text messages as well as Google Voice messages. It can read your email, so you can set up your Gmail account. It can also integrate with Microsoft Exchange, and you may have difficulties with that, but if you do, just contact me. Sometimes it's a matter of getting permission on your Exchange server from your administrator before it'll have access. And it can read your Exchange calendar as well, so when you create events and things like that and have reminders set up, you can have those so they're stored on that Exchange calendar. You can do regular reminders, so you can say, at 5 p.m. remind me to take my medicine and things like that, or on Thursday remind me about lunch at 12 p.m., something like that. You can also do location-based reminders, so you can say, next time I go to Walmart, remind me to get toothbrush, something like that. So anything with locations and reminders. As I said before, it does Google Voice, but also does Google Talk. So if you use Google Talk for your instant messaging, you can have this set up so for certain people, when a message comes from them, it'll read that message out, or it'll prompt you and say, there's a new message from so-and-so, would you like to hear it? Or you can just have it so it reads it directly, and it'll ask you if you want to reply, and you can say you reply sentence by sentence and then say done to send it. So that's really handy. Also, it treats Facebook and Twitter in the same way, so you can set it up so it'll read out the tweets from certain people that you're really interested in, and likewise the Facebook posts from people that friends that you have that you're really interested in, and ignore ones that you don't, And again, you can reply to both the Facebook feed and the Twitter as well in line. So that's really handy. It just basically treats those as instant messages coming in. And it gives you, it shows you up the message there, and if there's an image there, you can tap on the image to see the details and stuff like that. It's kind of neat. So the other thing that is really powerful about this software that you won't find in any of the other virtual assistants is the profile system. So there's like about 7 or 8 default profiles, and you can create your own profiles, and then within those profiles, you can adjust the settings to however you want for that profile. So you might have a home profile and a work profile, and you've got a car mode profile, and you might have a Bluetooth profile. And for each of those profiles, you might say, like, when I'm at work, I don't want it reading my Gmail, and when I'm at home, I don't want it reading my Exchange messages or whatever. And so you can set all those settings independently, and then all you have to do is when you're going from one environment to the other, you can just have it change profiles for you, and you can either do that manually by just switching it with a hotkey button off the menu, or you can actually schedule it to change a profile at a certain time on a daily basis or whatever. And you can also do it by location, so you can say, when I get to work, activate work profile, and it'll automatically do that. So it's kind of neat, and that's just really makes your phone so much more powerful, just that it's smart. It realizes where you are and what sort of things that you're going to want it to do when you're at that place or that time of day. So that's kind of neat. You can also open up applications, and you can create custom shortcuts. So if you want it to open up your Gmail, you can say open Gmail, but if you have a funky application with a weird name, you can also create a custom name for that and then say open whatever that name is, and it'll open that app. And likewise, you can do browser bookmarks for that. So if you want to open up a URL to a particular web page that you've got set and you do that on a regular basis, you can do that. And the software will remember things that you do at the same time every day, and once it learns your patterns, it'll suggest. So if you check the news every morning, you'll be surprised it'll come up after a few days and say, do you want me to check the news? And you just have to say yes then. So it makes it really easy. It's also integrated with Evernote, so all of your memos and lists, and if you use the journal option and you choose to use Evernote, everything will be stored in your Evernote account. So it's kind of nice. You can access that back through your desktop PC or whatever, however else you use Evernote. Like I said before, it's integrated with Google Voice and Google Talk, and also Google Maps and navigation. So you can say, you know, map of such and such a place, same as the other virtual assistants out there. And you can also say navigate to, you know, the nearest McDonald's or whatever, and it'll do that for you and automatically bring up the Google navigation. For those people who know about Tasker, it's integrated with Tasker, so you can have it execute Tasker actions. And if you don't know anything about Tasker and you're kind of like a techie and you like getting into the low-level stuff, Tasker is an amazing tool that allows you to do all sorts of low-level things with your phone that just by setting up different actions and functions there, and there's all sorts of logic in there that you can do for things. So it's kind of neat. I haven't used it very much, but because I can program to the level that I need to, but for people who are not programmers but like to get into the low-level stuff, it's really cool. And I said integration with Facebook and Twitter, and also Exchange, and also NFC tags if your phone is compatible, like you have a Galaxy S3. It can read NFC tags and also write them, so you can store an NFC tag commands, so when you swipe your phone in front of that tag, it'll execute the command. So you might have, like, for example, I've got a couple of tags in my car, and one basically activates car profile and starts up Pandora for music. So when I wave the phone in front of that tag, it activates the car profile and starts Pandora, and I don't have to say any commands or anything, it just does it. And also it's integrated with Insteon, which is a home automation system, so it allows you to do things like control your lights and switches and stuff in your house, and maybe open your garage door, and there's a bunch of things that you can do with Insteon, which is kind of cool. Those are things that you won't find in the other competitive software. So if you're looking for software that is like really a virtual assistant that's going to make your life easier, set up your phone to do things on a regular basis, automate a lot of things that you do, but you're not really interested in software that's a chat bot or is just going to answer all those, you know, goofy general knowledge or trivia type questions, then this is the software for you. But like I said, if you want something that does the chatbot or the trivia, then you should look at some of the other applications out there. Anyway, I'm going to show you in a minute how to set up these different text-to-speech voices. And keep in mind, I'm available via email if you have any questions or problems. I've got 20-something videos on my YouTube channel now that you can go through that show you how to use all the different features of the software. There's fully detailed help in the software, which I'll show you shortly as well. So, I mean, there's so much information available to help you through all the different features and get you, productive with this software quickly. And like I say, none of the other competitors have done that. They just throw the software out there, does a few functions, and they don't document anything, and they don't have any demo videos, and it's because they don't have a lot of functionality. This software, I've worked on this for 2 years now, and I think it shows. So anyway, I'll get off here now, and I'm going to show you how to set up the text-to-speech voices, and then I'll show you some different features that are in the software quickly. All right, thanks. Okay, I'm back. Let's have a look. We're on the Nexus 7 right now, and I'm going to show you how you can download and set up one of the voices from SVOX. So if you go into Google Play here, and probably just go straight to Apps, and then click your search button there, and you can type in SVOX. You see I already have it there. You'll see it comes up the top one there, Classic Text-to-Speech Engine. So you'll click on that and choose to install that, and that's a free download. And then that's basically all you need to start with there. And you'll see underneath that is some of the other voices that they have there, and the English voices and German and stuff. For my software, you can only use the English voices. And something else I wanted to show you before we get into the SVOX one is that if you search for Ivona, I-V-O-N-A, you'll see they have a bunch of text-to-speech voices as well. So for example, this Kendra one, you can install that, and it's a free download on there, so you're not going to get charged anything. And those voices, I think, just as good as SVOX. It's up to you which one you prefer. So let's see, once you've installed your SVOX voice, you can open it up, and this is just the engine. You'll see here it defaults to US English, and it shows you the different voices that I have there, and you can tap on one and it chooses allows you to listen to an example, get the free trial, or if you want to purchase it, you can do that, and it's $2.99 when you want to purchase it, but the free trial lasts for 14 days. So let's just listen to an example first. So,
hello, I am the new US English voice of Android. Listen to ebooks, navigation, translation, and other apps in my natural voice.
Okay, so that's that one. The Michael voice is okay for a US speaking male voice, and this is the British one, Victoria, female voice. Shouldn't take that long normally, it's just downloading a sample. Maybe my internet connection's slow right now. Let's try that again. Let's try the Oliver voice. This is the male one.
Hi, I am the new UK English voice of Android. Listen to ebooks, navigation, translation, and other apps spoken in my natural voice.
Okay, so that voice is really good. If you decide you want to use Evan, so have a male version of my software with the male voice, and you know, I think that British voice sounds really neat. Let's just try this one again and see if we can get it to work here. I'm not sure why that's not working. Anyway, I already have that installed, so I'll be able to show you and so you know what it sounds like. So once you've got this software and you decide which voice you want, again, like I said, you would tap on that, choose get a free trial, and that'll download the voice. You can also go back into Google Play and do it from there. So if you wanted to download SVOX US English Grace, you would do it from here. Okay, so say for example, I've already downloaded that one, and you choose to open it. The first time you open it, it's going to do this thing here where it's saying I need to download the voice data. So you'll choose that, and it'll download the rest of the data there, and it's like 14 megabytes for this one. And you know, while that's going on, you can do other things. So you'll see once it's installed, you have the different icons there, and I've got the Grace voice and Victoria and Oliver, and I already installed Oliver and Victoria. So if I open up this one, you don't actually have to do anything with that SVOX then now. You just go straight to the voice here, and you'll see it's set up there. It says SVOX Classic is not currently set as a default text-to-speech, so I haven't done that yet. I wanted to show you how to do it. So I'll just cancel that right now, and oh, should have stayed open. Oh, not going to let me do that. Alright, let's go into that. So go to TTS text-to-speech settings. Now let's just cancel right now. Okay, let me play this right now so you can hear the Victoria voice.
Hi, I'm Victoria. Type any text in this window to hear it spoken.
So you see that one has more of a British accent. Okay, from here now you can press this little tool button here, and that takes you into your settings. And this is the Android, going into the Android settings now. And so what you want to do is come down here to language and input, and on older devices it'll be voice input and output is what you would see here. So you tap on that, and then you come down here to text to speech output, and you tap on that, and you'll see here is your different choices for the engine. So depending on your device and what text to speech you have, you'll have different choices, and there may be a different way of selecting it on your thing, especially on the older version of Android. I believe you have to click on one to make a selection. So you switch over to SVOX Classic, and it's just give you a warning there about it may be able to collect data, blah blah blah. Okay on that, and then you can press this listen to an example button to make sure it's working.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English with SVOX Classic.
Okay, so now using the SVOX voice. And what you can do is click on the settings over here, and again on the older version of Android it's slightly different than this. You can choose the language here, and you see the different ones I have selected there, and it has the voice, so Oliver, Victoria, Grace. So I choose Oliver there, and settings for SVOX Classic TTS, volume, pitch, advanced settings, English voices, UK and US. So if I choose the UK, I'll choose preferred voices Oliver. Okay, so I've got the male voice selected, and if I was using English voices, US voices, if I had Michael there as well, I could choose that. So if I switch over to United States voices, it'll use Grace. So if I back up here and I choose listen to an example, it should play the Oliver voice.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English with SVOX Classic.
Okay, so basically whatever voice you hear when you press that listen to an example button, that's the voice that my software is going to use. Okay, and within my software, you'll see in a minute, you can switch over from one voice to another simply by choosing which language is being, or which country is being played. So anyway, we'll go back out of there. So that's basically all you need to do. Your text-to-speech is set up now. And the last thing you want to check here is back here in your voice search. You'll see it's sometimes you may have an option there that says like if you're on a Samsung phone, it may say Samsung voice recognition, or it might say Lingo voice recognition. You definitely want to make sure that it's either voice search or Google voice recognition is selected, because whatever you have selected there, that's what voice recognition that my software is going to use. Okay, so once all that's set up, then you can go back out, and you'll see I already have the widget stuff for Evan set here, and I'll go into Evan and we'll show you a few things and see what we see here. So I'll just tap on that.
Yes, Peter.
And see, I already had this open and it's already gone through the setup phase and stuff. And actually, because I had it running before, that voice that you heard then was the default voice. So what you can do is you can come in here to, well, let me show you how to do it from scratch. So on this Nexus 7, you've got the little 3 dots here, that's your menu button. So if you tap on that, brings up the menu, you choose settings.
Your settings are displayed. Tap on a category to make changes.
Okay, so interface section is what we want to change the voice. We tap on that and you'll see I actually had this set up before with EVA running on it, and I've gone and renamed it. Instead of EVA, I've got it renamed to Grace, and I'll show you how to change that in a second. But if we say change Grace's voice there to English United Kingdom, United Kingdom, let's see what it says.
Yes, Peter.
Okay, so now it's using the Oliver voice just because I changed that to English United Kingdom. Okay, and if you wanted to rename your person that you're talking to, you go into the wake mode section here and you'll see wake up phrase is hey Grace. So if I want to call this guy maybe, I don't know, let's say John or something like that. It's pretty boring, but anyway.
What is the new wake up phrase or name you want to call me by?
Hey John.
Tap on the item you would like for the wake up phrase or select the last item to try saying it again. My wake up phrase is now single quote hey John single quote.
Okay, so that's selected. So now when I display the settings again,
your settings are displayed. Tap on a category to make changes.
and open up the interface section, you'll see it says John's voice there. So I can refer to him as John now. And actually, I've just noticed that actually isn't using the SVOX voice right now. That's using a male version of the Android voice, because if you listen to that.
Yes, Peter.
And if we go back out to settings,
this is an example of speech synthesis in English with SVOX Classic.
Yeah, so you see it's not actually using that yet. So what we need to do is I'll just do a quick restart here, and we'll come back when that's done, and we'll hear the other voice. So if you have to do this, just do the same thing, just restart it. So I'll come back in a second. Okay, so if I open that up again now.
Yes, Peter.
That's better. Now you can hear it switched over to the other voice. Okay, so let me show you a few things. So just to get you started, so you know how to navigate around, the first thing that you probably want to know, or probably need to know, is press your menu button, access the help. So this button over here brings up
These are the help categories. Tap for the subtopics and tap again for details. Tap again to hide an item. Complete documentation is available online at www.bulletproof.com/Evan.
Okay, so that's just telling you where you can get access to the full help. So all this help that's documented here in these categories is also available on the web, just bulletproof.com/Evan or EVA or AVX, and it's kind of verbose there, but if you want to sit at your computer and read it while you're working through things on your phone, it's much easier to do it that way. First couple of items here, quick start menu, I'll show you in a second. The second link there is a link to my YouTube channel, so you can get access to all the videos that I've created. And then the other different things there. FAQ is important too. There's a bunch of things in there that you should read, just so you up to speed on the things that are most important. And then of course the different categories there. So when you open up a different category, like say if you want to learn about doing stuff with a calendar, you'll open that up and it tells you the different things, and for each of those, you know, how do I create time-based actions, tap on that, it gives you the details. You read through that and you can tap on it again to close it, and you can tap on a category again to close it. And let me show you the quick start, and you can also say quick start to it. It'll bring up the quick start menu here.
Tap on the topic for quick start examples. Note that these are just the easiest way to do things and by no means the only way.
Okay, so what you have at the top here is the key to the syntax. So items that have the square brackets around them are optional, and items that are in regular parentheses, you have to choose one of the ones in the parentheses, and the items in the less than, greater than are a phrase that you must say, and that might be somebody's name or something like that. And here it says, generally if you do not specify an optional square bracket item, you're prompted for it. And then the word display is interchangeable with list or show me in most cases. So for example, let's say you want to see how to call somebody. So you open up contacts, and well actually probably you would open up calls. I think, yeah, you'd open up calls, and it gives you the ways of making a call. So you can say call a contact or dial a number, and then optionally you can say using speaker or on speaker, and then you can say at number type. So you might say call John at home or call John at work. And like I said before, this is not the only way of saying it, this is just the quickest way of saying it. So all of the different things that you can do, you can come in here and you can see all the things, and the shortcuts of how to do these different things. And if you say something that it doesn't understand, it's going to look at the words that you used and see if it can find a match in this, and it's going to make suggestions for you. So that'll help you to learn the different features without having to open up the quick start all the time and see what's going on. Okay, so that's the quick start, and like I say, you can access it just by saying quick start.
Yes, Peter.
Quick start.
Tap on the topic for quick start examples.
Okay, so that's basically just brings up the same thing again. Alright, so and I showed you how to go to access the settings, and I showed you how to access the help, and I'm going to switch onto my Galaxy S3 in a second here and show you some other things. Okay, so on my Galaxy S3 here, and just in case you're wondering, that's my new live wallpaper flying high that's running there. You can get that off of Google Play as well. So anyway, I've got AVX installed on this one.
Yes, Pete.
And I'm just going to bring up the settings here.
Your settings are displayed. Tap on a category to make changes.
Some of the things I want to just go through here quickly. We talked about profiles earlier. So if you tap on the profile section, you'll see I've got profiles turned on and the active profile is default. And you can do a bunch of different things, and I'm going to go through all the details because there's another separate video that explains profiles and how it all works, but I just kind of want to show you around some of this stuff right now just very quickly. Things that you might want to change fairly quickly is, say for in interface, you may want to turn off your shake, so shake activation, or you may want to adjust the sensitivity there. You may want to change your font size, change your own accent. So you tap on that and you choose, what your accent that you're speaking with is, and then, like I said, like we did before on the Nexus 7, change the voice. And in this case, I've called my phone Android, so I say, "Hey Android," and it comes up. So you change what voice it's using there. So right now it's using English United States, so it's using the Grace voice. Other things that you might want to change in here, say if you want your screen lock to be off, maybe in a certain profile. I always have mine off, especially when I'm not sort of out and about. I just leave it off so I don't have to keep swiping my phone. You can turn that off, and there's a bunch of different things you can turn off there. And again, when you switch profiles, it'll do whatever's set for that profile. Next thing that you probably want to do, and you can go through all these, text messaging, choose what it does when a message comes in. I have it at notify and prompt, and this is all documented on what each of these does. You can just have it speak messages right out, or speak and ask you if you want to reply. Whisper, it'll basically speak it, but it won't come to the front first. You could be in another application, it'll just read it in the background and then prompt you if you want to hear it. And same with the notify as well. It'll say you've got a new message, do you want to hear it? And notify and prompt, after it plays the message, it'll ask you if you want to reply to it, and then of course you can choose ignore and it won't read your messages at all. Okay, so same thing, same type of thing for instant messaging. You can set up your accounts there. Facebook and Twitter, you just have to turn those on, and it'll authorize to your account. Same with Evernote, you turn that on and it's going to ask you to authorize to your account. And then car mode, there's a few things there that you might want to look at. You could choose whether it comes on automatically when you dock your phone, if you have a dock, and you can choose a separate font size for car mode, and also the proximity activation, where you can wave your hand in front of the proximity sensor even when the screen is off, and AVX or EVA, EVAN, whatever, will come to the front and immediately ask you what you want. So that's kind of handy. And I showed you wake mode before, but you can come in here and change that wake up phrase, which is basically changing the name of whatever you want the system to be called. So if you want to come up with a name, you want to call it Hal or whatever you want, you can change that there just by the wake up phrase. And putting hey in front is optional. It's just that becomes the wake up phrase, and it's smart enough to realize if you put hey in front of it, then the name that you want to call it is whatever's the next word or words is. Okay, and this wake up mode is a hands-free mode, and when you turn that on, and you can do that from the menu over here, you just press that wake button there. When you turn that on, it goes into a mode where it's constantly listening for the wake up phrase, whatever you have there, hey Android. The other buttons that you see on the top here, these are customizable. By default, they're profiles that you can activate, the default home and night profile, and I think by default it's work on there, depends on what you change it to. And then you have your car mode here, so let's say if we go into car mode, you'll see when you go into car mode you get this sort of menu up the top here, and I have a separate video that talks all about car mode, so you could watch that. But basically car mode has all these buttons here, and the ones with stars on them are ones that you can customize, and if they haven't been assigned to anything, you just tap on it once and it'll prompt you for what you want to do, what command you want to run. And if it's already been assigned, you just long press if you want to reassign it. And you can swipe left and right here so that you have a music
New
one.
Facebook post by Ryan Mason 1 hour and 38 minutes ago. One cancelled flight later. Finally made it.
Alright, so they're showing your Facebook working. I actually had Facebook set to silent in the default mode, and in car mode it's not set to silent, so as soon as I turn to car mode, a few seconds later it starts reading my Facebook.
Post by Jessica and
So
A1.
let me just stop that.
New Facebook post by Shalom Weiss 1 hour and 3 minutes ago. Shalom Wise.
Hold Facebook.
New Facebook post by FB_and_feed.
Okay, fine. I think it's hold it.
Yes, Peter.
Disable Facebook.
Facebook is off.
Okay, so I won't read that. Alright, so you can swipe left and right here to go through the different screens in car mode. And you'll see I've got different buttons assigned to different things, and some I haven't assigned yet, and you can play your music and all that sort of stuff. And when you're done with car mode, you can either tap back on that car mode button there, or you can tap on the menu here and toggle it back off again. And you'll see the top title disappears and the font goes back to the normal size, and all that good stuff, and it changes back to the default profile. Okay, so that's basically how that all works. Alright, so the other thing I want to talk about is Bluetooth, and a lot of people now are using Bluetooth headsets, but they're also using the in-car mode on their headsets. So one of the things that
your settings are displayed.
Probably want to
Tap
do
on a category.
Is if you have an in-car mode, like the Ford Sync one or one of the others, you're probably going to want to change this Bluetooth users notification stream setting to yes for when you're in the car profile. Otherwise your in-car system thinks that you're trying to make phone calls all the time because it goes out through the regular audio stream. So if you turn that on to yes, that'll fix that problem up. And for the most Bluetooth devices work pretty good, and all you have to do is turn them on and make sure they're synced, and this will automatically connect to it. If you don't want it to connect, you can choose the Bluetooth ignore option. You can choose the ignore Bluetooth devices, and you can set that to yes, so it just won't use Bluetooth at all. And this option here for Bluetooth, that just means to turn it on or off or ignore it. And anytime you see one of the ignore options here, it means when you're changing profiles. So when you're changing profiles, it won't do anything to Bluetooth. It'll leave it whatever it's currently at. And of course, if you change it to off or on, then when it changes to that profile, it'll turn it on or it'll turn it off. Okay, so that's what the ignore is for. So in this case, when I switch to the default profile, if Bluetooth is already on, I don't want to touch it. I just want to leave it so it's set to ignore. So normally what happens, you turn your Bluetooth headset on and the audio should immediately start coming through the headset. And when you're talking to the software, it'll automatically pick up your voice from the microphone, of course, unless you turn that Bluetooth microphone setting off. Okay. Next thing that you might want to do is check your contacts. So try this first.
Yes, Peter.
Display my contacts.
I have listed the contacts you currently have defined.
Okay, so if you don't see any contacts, or you're seeing too many contacts or not the right ones, then you probably need to choose a default group. And I've shown this in some of the other videos, but I'll show you again.
Yes, Peter.
Display my available groups.
The groups are displayed. Tap on the one you want to be the default.
Okay.
Only contacts in this group will be used. Clear the default by tapping on it if you want to use all your contacts.
Okay, so you have to use the word available to show the groups this way. If you just say display my groups, it'll display the groups, but when you tap on them, it's going to display the contacts in that group. Here, if you tap on it, whichever one you tap on becomes the default. And you see, by default, the one called My Contacts is the default. But if it's not seeing the right contacts, you want to come in here and change this, and each time you change it, say display my contacts, and see which contacts it's seeing, because the ones that it sees are the ones it's going to recognize when you say text somebody or call somebody. And generally when you're trying to text or call somebody, the best thing to do is just use their first name, because Google voice recognition doesn't do a great job on picking up last names, especially if they're tricky. So you're better off just using a first name. And you'll see in some of my other videos I've done it there where if you have multiple people with the same name, you can choose to ignore certain people if you're never going to text or call them, just by displaying their the contacts' names there and swiping left on it, and it will ignore that person. That way, when you say, text Dave, it'll only text the Dave that you haven't ignored. And check out one of my other videos or read the help for more details on that. Alright, so that sorts that out. So I've told you about profiles and car mode and wake mode and voices and settings and all that sort of stuff, and how to get into the quick start and learn all the different phrases and everything like that. So hopefully that's a good start, and like I say, if you go through and watch some of my other videos there, you'll learn a lot more about all the different features that you can set up. There's so many different things that you could change. If I wanted to do one video that contained everything, I'd be here for about 4 hours talking about it. It's just too much. So anyway, hopefully you like the software and you get into a little bit and tell your friends and family and co-workers and help spread the word. And you know, if you don't mind, give me a good rating on Google Play, and please don't rate me and say the voice recognition is not very good, because I don't have any control over that. It's the Google voice recognition. And don't say, oh, the voice is really robotic, because I've showed you how to fix that. You know, if you're going to give me a rating, give me a rating for the software itself, you know. And you know, if you have problems or suggestions, then email me instead of writing something bad in there, because I can't respond to you on Google Play. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the software, and thanks very much for taking the time to watch this, what turned out to be a long video. Thanks.